Shut up and sit down.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the Undercuts Mocks podcast. We'll be talking all about the wrestling week gone by. I'm your host Matthew Dale and I'm here once again with a good friend of mine, Bradley Smith.
Hello.
How are you, Bradley?
I'm alright in our current situation. How are you?
Yeah, well, we'll have to work around it. Unfortunately, for people listening, we're not in our usual studio this week. Unfortunately, we're in a studio with just the one mic, so we're both crowded around. We're very close to each other, but not too close. And it might sound a tiny bit echoey, but we'll work with it. We'll work with it.
It won't stop a great week of wrestling.
Yeah. And what did you think of the week of wrestling gone by?
Yeah, it was a good week, but I think that's come from the excitement of WrestleMania anyway. And yeah, it was especially SmackDown again. It was a good show for them, and Raw was just as equally good.
Well, I think in a way you summed it up quite well there. Sort of the week of wrestling, like before and ongoing towards WrestleMania, sort of people might have a false perception because of the fact we're getting towards this show. So people's opinion of the wrestling and different segments of the show might differ, to say, in the summer of wrestling. And I think we should start off really by saying that with the Monday Night Raw in the first segment, which is a segment between Stephanie McMahon and Mick Foley, something that a lot of us may have predicted anyway of last week, Stephanie firing Mick Foley.
Yeah, but it was done in a nice way when Mick went out as a hero, and he was saying he doesn't have to read these cue cards, and he doesn't want to be something he's not, and it was nice of Mick Foley to go out that way, but we know why he's going anyway. And he tweeted, "I hope I did a good job," and I think he did. We make fun of him a lot, but he did a good job, and especially like backing people like Bayley and Sami Zayn, he's done well.
Well, I think for me, in previous weeks and months that he's been the general manager, I haven't been the biggest fan of his in the world. And sort of as he was saying goodbye, I actually thought, no, I don't particularly want him to go. Yeah. Obviously, we know why he is going, because he's undergoing well-needed surgery. And in the end, actually, with that last segment, I didn't used to like the manner that he used to speak, and him and Stephanie would just shout at each other and sort of go all guns blazing. But I actually thought that in his last segment, in his last speech, I liked the fact that he was screaming and shouting. I'm sure it had a lot more of a purpose, because he was ripping up the cue cards and there was a lot of passion to what he was saying. But I liked it in the end, and it's a bit of a sad, well, not sad end, but
we always take them for granted until they go.
You could say that, and during that, I mean, I think we can have a chat about whether I think whether or not Stephanie's ruining Raw, and sort of one of those reasons was she uses all of her catchphrases once again, nicking from her dad, and with I'm sure she would have loved to say "you're fired." Do you still like Stephanie on Raw, and how she's been such a prominent figure for so many years now on Raw?
Yeah, that's the thing. I'm a fan of the McMahons and what they've done for wrestling, but I've never really been a fan of Stephanie. And when the whole Undertaker versus Shane thing happened, and then Vince gave one to SmackDown, Shane to SmackDown and Stephanie to Raw, I didn't know how involved she was going to be. Like in the past, she's been really involved, and again she's really involved, but. Yeah, she's just trying to be like her dad, isn't she? And it's, Shane has his own character, and that's why we like him, and Stephanie not so much.
Well, I was thinking actually of how much she's actually featured on WWE programming. Obviously she featured a lot during the Attitude Era, and then during the feud like Triple H and Randy Orton, that feud towards WrestleMania 25, she was a prominent figure in that. Then she went away for a bit, came back around 2012, 2013, and she has not gone away at all. And for a long time, with Vince, he comes on and off, and sometimes it's a nice surprise when he comes onto Raw usually. But with Stephanie, she's been such a prominent figure. It's like you do need to break and something to freshen it up. And I think that Vince and the WWE in general, when they incorporated a commissioner and a general manager, it was like they were desperate to try and keep the McMahons on for no reason. Do you agree with that?
I see what you're saying. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
We could just keep comparing to Shane, because we don't see him as a commissioner. We see him as a partner to Daniel Bryan, which I know I enjoy, and I think you do. So with Stephanie and Mick, it was a lot different. But maybe now they'll get a new GM and they'll work together as well. And Stephanie won't be on screen as much as it will say. She trusts the new GM, and she won't have to be involved.
Yeah, and we'll see how that gets on and then post WrestleMania really. But one thing that did happen in that segment between Stephanie and Mick is someone that go on a couple of months ago might have surprised a lot of people, but now Sami Zayn came out and very very close with Mick and appreciative of all that he's done. Did you like the fact that he come out in a big segment to open up Raw?
That's what I mean. A big segment. Mick's just got fired, and then the music you wouldn't expect to hear, and it's Sami Zayn's. And I was really happy he was in a big segment. It's one of the first, by himself, and it was great. I like that he stuck up for Mick, and he came across as a good guy, but not that he's going to get pushed around. And it was nice. Well,
there's a lot of rumours actually surfacing that they were going to cut Sami Zayn's sort of face run, his ultimate face run, short. But I think sort of him coming out and sort of cementing his place, and standing up to sort of the authority, tells that they're not going to cut that face turn short.
Yeah, I don't know why you'd cut it. I think, maybe in a few years' time you could see him turn, but now, keep him where everyone loves him, because again, there's not many of those on Raw, and he's great to have around.
Yeah, and in true sort of McMahon style, Stephanie went around trying to punish people that were associated with Mick in certain ways, and the first thing was putting Sami Zayn in another match with Samoa Joe.
Yeah.
And some people think that the continuation of the same matches on Raw and on pay-per-views would be annoying to some people, but for me that really wasn't the case. Did you like this match once again between the two?
What happened is Samoa Joe came out, and he's the bodyguard to the authority now. Like they've had Randy Orton in the past, and another Sami Zayn versus Samoa Joe match. But again, they just reinvent themselves every week. And Joe was when he jumped through the middle rope. We haven't seen that from Samoa Joe yet. They have great matchups, and it's not something that I get bored of, because I like how they both perform.
Yeah, well, I would say last week, I think the main talking point that I said was the fact that we remember more of the segments and the dialogue than the actual wrestling itself. And this week, a couple of matches on Raw, and especially one in particular on SmackDown that we'll get to. It's more about the wrestling this week, and I think it was a good mix maybe on Raw.
Yeah.
And what I would say about this match is like you said, they can reinvent themselves, and they had a bit more time than a lot of other matches. There were a lot of matches on Raw on Monday that were cut short.
Yeah.
Very very quick matches, one in particular. But these two guys, people know that they can come out and put on a show, and it's very much like maybe what I was going to say is at the moment, and we'll talk about it, they might not even have a match at Mania. But there was last year, and AJ Styles and Chris Jericho had a lot of matches on Raw, then onto Fastlane, then onto Mania. You never know, they might do that.
Exactly.
What do you think with a week to go, which it will be on when Raw comes around? They wouldn't have had a match booked, either of them involved in anything at Mania. Do you think that that's going to stay the same?
At the minute, I think the card's so packed. I think Sami Zayn was kind of a backup figure in case Seth couldn't actually make it, but it does look like he is now. And because the card's so packed, you've got Undertaker, Reigns, and Triple H, Seth Rollins, and all that, all the title matches. I think they're not going to have anything to do. And what I hope doesn't happen, but I think will, is we're going to see interference from Samoa Joe, maybe in the Kevin Owens match and probably the Triple H match, which gives Sami Zayn a chance to kind of come out as well. They'll probably both be in the Andre the Giant if they don't do anything, but hopefully this will, Finn Balor will come out at WrestleMania, because he's planned to be there. So hopefully he comes out at this moment and it's just a big brawl going on. Or we'll see when the episode next on Raw. But at the minute I don't think they have anything to do.
Well, because there's so many matches. I think at the time of this podcast being recorded, I think there's 12 matches on the card at the moment. That doesn't include a possible SmackDown tag team, or any other matches that might be added to the card. So some people if Joe and Zayn were on the card, some matches, 13, 14 matches on the card, some matches will deserve to go 20, 25 minutes, but they won't, which will, it's not going to be great for them, because if they have like a 10, 15 minute or even less match like that, they're going to feel disappointed that they haven't had the chance to steal the show.
Yeah, I agree. And, someone like Samoa Joe and Sami Zayn, they deserve, like you said, they deserve just as much time as what Triple H and Seth Rollins will get. And so they shouldn't cram everything in. I think, it's nice for WrestleMania to flow nicely, and the better matches last longer, and I think they should keep it like that.
And I agree. I don't think they will have a singles match or any match involving possibly Andre the Giant. But I think you could say they get involved in either the Jericho Owens or the Triple H Rollins, because of the odd way that they've been involved in both on and off, especially Joe being involved with Triple H and Kevin Owens, and they're in separate matches. And we will see how that develops.
I hope not, though. I'm not a fan of interferences anyway. So at Mania, the show of the year, I hope not, unless they do it maybe after the match finishes, and they help beat down Seth Rollins or something. But yeah, I don't want to see it during the match.
Well, I sort of had a instant flashback when I thought about it, about people interfering in Triple H's matches, and with Triple H and Sting at WrestleMania 31, you had DX and then the NWO. So you never know, there might be a jam-packed match, and probably in the Triple H and Rollins, I think Jericho and Owens, I don't think there'll be any interference. It doesn't need it.
It really doesn't.
No. Anyway, we move on to the first women's match of Monday Night Raw, which was Charlotte against Dana Brooke, which was
it's quite short, wasn't it?
It was very short but predictable with what happened last week anyway, with Dana Brooke's, you could say, a face turn attacking Charlotte. I have two things really that I remember from this match. Really, one of them would be the fact that Charlotte beat her in a convincing fashion. It was like she's had a face turn for nothing, and the second thing, which probably a lot of people would notice, was her poor in-ring abilities. Dana looked, in my opinion, she looked lost out there, to be honest, and she's been on the main roster for a year, but she doesn't seem to have made that much progress.
Yeah, the commentators are like, she put a great effort in. She put an effort in, but it wasn't anything entertaining. And then, like you said, you knew Charlotte was going to win. It was a bit pointless, but I think it's to kind of clear the roster out as Emma's coming in. So these mid-card women's matches, you can have like Emma versus Dana and things like that.
Yeah, well, I mean, whenever Emma does.
Yeah.
Emma does return, but
Mania.
Yeah,
main event.
Well, the thing is with this match between Charlotte and Dana is that there was a point in that match where I think that she was going for like a clothesline or something, and Charlotte she's hit Charlotte and she's just there on the floor, and then she panics and doesn't want to do, and she goes for a really late cover, and I think that just summed up the fact that she's very indecisive and doesn't, she's not all there yet. But with the face turn, do you agree that was literally just to keep Charlotte doing something and to keep her strong in her way going forward towards this fatal four-way match at WrestleMania?
Yeah, I think so. Obviously you had Nia doing things with Bayley and Sasha, the two faces, but next week would be nice to see Nia versus Charlotte, but we won't get that. So yeah, Dana was something to do for a week or two before Mania.
Which is it depends who you ask. I would probably say that it would have been nice to give her maybe one last proper try. Probably may have been better to do it if she didn't feature much, and then do something after Mania.
Yeah.
But I mean, maybe the best thing for her was to possibly move to SmackDown and get a shuffle out with the women's division on both brands and see what comes to that, really.
Yeah, something like that might happen.
Well, anyway, we'll see. We'll move on to another women's match later on, but firstly we'll go towards what I was looking forward to actually very much. The highlight reel, which would be one of my favourite talk shows. Probably that and Miss TV, which is one of the only two actually, but they're both been on for a long time. And his guest was the real Kevin Owens, but it was mainly a lot of the comical elements and resurfacing a lot of Kevin Owens' childhood and his enjoyment of WWE.
Yeah, we've seen this before, the whole fan thing, but this was kind of a unique because of who Chris Jericho was. Like, usually it's like a fan of John Cena, but it's nice that it was real. Like obviously Kevin Owens was a fan of Chris Jericho for real, like with the Y2J shirt, and it was a different kind of fan story, and the Twitter DMs as well. I believe they're legit as well.
Yeah,
and,
so do I.
Yeah, it was a nice touch. Obviously they worked together for like nearly a year, because of who wouldn't want to work with their hero, I guess. And they made a great year of it, and now they're gonna make a great Mania match, I believe.
Well, firstly, those DMs that were actually shown, I think they were around 2014, which was when Owens was sort of just coming in and around NXT. So I do think they were very, very genuine, and especially because Jericho was his idol, so why not have a better person to ask than Y2J himself? And I like this, and I like the idea that they made from this segment that by WrestleMania 29 against Fandango, Chris Jericho is the big guy, is pardon the pun, at WrestleMania, and he said something along the lines of when he's in that ring with him, he's not going to know what he's got himself into.
Exactly.
I thought Owens, that's going to be great for him to realise that if that's all true and his hero is Y2J, then for him this is nearly the tip of the iceberg for him, because he's going to be in the ring with the man that he's looked up to for a lot of his childhood.
Yeah, I think we need to, after the disappointing Fastlane loss and the way he retained the title for a few months, I think we need to actually look how far Kevin Owens has come. And for a man that got told he was never gonna make it big because of his athletic shape, then coming in on his debut, his main roster debut, and beating John Cena, and then beating him for the United States Championship, and then he won Intercontinental as well. He in what 2 years he's come so far, and to me he's the most all round guy that there is from the newer people. Obviously, he's not Chris Jericho yet, but he could be.
And for most of the majority of the fans anyway in WWE these days, they're always looking for the next big thing and someone fresh. And for him to actually stay relevant, and he's had a record of something, being in so many pay-per-views in a row. For him to have stayed relevant and to eventually go from sort of an average ladder match to with such a packed card to now actually have a singles match at Mania for anyone is an achievement and a reward for how much work they've put in. And I think that he thoroughly deserves it.
Yeah, I think the United States is going to kind of be a smaller thank you for giving up the belt to Goldberg. Obviously, in my opinion, he deserves to be Universal Champion still, but at least he's going to do something with the United States. He's not going to let Roman Reigns just carry it about for a bit. He's actually going to do something with it, and hopefully it'll lead to innovative matches.
And I think we said it before, but I really do hope they give Jericho Owens the time that it needs at Mania, because it could really be something memorable for years to come. We talk during these podcasts and go, I remember WrestleMania so-and-so. We for years to come, we could be looking back on that. Well, something else that happened during that segment is I believe Samoa Joe came out, and Kevin Owens obviously came out, and it was very much like the tag team match last week, and Jericho ended up with a pop-up powerbomb and ended up flat on his back, really. Did you like the fact that it ended like that? Because it was sort of very, mirrored to last week. Yeah,
he sold the powerbomb so well then. You see how high he went up? It was great. I'm liking it because I like the thought of Samoa Joe and Kevin Owens together. I like the thought of that, and that's why I'm enjoying these attacks. They're both the prize fighter and the destroyer, and it's the most powerful tag team you can make, I guess, and that they're showing that they are.
And maybe for people as well who just want something a lot more clear cut, I guess you could say it's quite confusing. Maybe the fact Triple H is fighting so-and-so with Seth Rollins, and they're all mixed up in their own fights, but you want to remind them that in the end of the day they are close, and they might even be this great stable after Mania. So I think for the people who just want things cleared up, that's quite...
Yeah, it's like they're individually running Raw by themselves, but then if you look at it, they've kind of got their closed circuit and no one can kind of get out of that because Seth Rollins might beat Triple H, but Triple H is the guy. You can't become above Triple H, and you've got Kevin Owens, probably a champion after Mania, and you've got Samoa Joe, who will probably be a very, very, very close future world Universal Champion. So yeah, they're kind of running Raw at the minute, and it all come together after Mania, I believe.
Well, one of the reasons why our podcast went so long last week is because we sort of talked about a lot of the filler stuff in quite big detail. So I'm probably gonna not do that as much this week. So quick fire through the Brian Kendrick against TJ Perkins. I mean, that was quick fire anyway. Only lasted a couple minutes.
I think I had the passport, but
Yeah, that match was only just used that match was literally nothing. They just had in the ring, Kendrick picks up the win, and then the focus goes on to that and his feud with Tozawa.
Yeah, I don't know why TJ Perkins is still kind of that guy either. Jack Gallagher should just be that guy because we've seen TJ Perkins since Cruiserweight Classic and afterwards because he was the first champion, and he's always managed to keep himself in the big matches, and it's time for someone else to come through. I think I do like his entrance though every time, not the dab, but like the game.
Yeah, in a way, I do like that somewhat, but then he ruins it with the dab. I really don't want to talk about the Cruiserweight that much, but as in that point in the Cruiserweight, there's other aspects that I'm really looking forward to. Move on to that quickly. I sort of ruined it really for people who didn't watch it. As I said, fatal 4-way for the women's championship. But Nia Jax fought Bayley, and if she defeated her, she would have earned a spot in the women's title match at WrestleMania, which she did. And the thing that I made that was in the back of my head from this is it's just sort of like there's no real prominent figure. They've all sort of just beaten each other in the end. I know Nia hasn't faced Charlotte because at a time they sort of were both the monster heels, so they weren't really enemies. And they're sort of just like they've all beat each other, and I just think not that it's a bit of a pickle, but the fact that I just think I'm not sure if they've meant to have this way at Mania, but if they've meant for all to eventually beat each other, then I guess it's all every woman for herself for WrestleMania.
Yeah, it's not as distinct as what SmackDown did. We'll talk about that with their women's division, but it is a bit like everyone can get everyone. So it's going into Mania as an open match. But what I didn't like was I just don't like Nia Jax's kind of ability compared to the other three at the minute. I think she maybe like SummerSlam time she would have been ready for this, but I think it's just because she's a big woman, she can throw Bayley and Sasha around.
Yeah, definitely. I think that I think that she probably would be ready for this because she doesn't have to do as much as the other one.
I guess so.
Like she has to chuck a few people about, and then all she has to do is stand by the other two while Charlotte, she takes a moonsault from Charlotte. It's not like she have to do that much. She'll run into a barricade, and they'll move out of the way, and she's splat, and she can just wait around for a couple minutes. Do you know what I mean? That's not me. I'm not slating her abilities, and she does what she can for the character and for the size that she is. No disrespect, but I think that it would have been disrespectful to her if she wasn't in the women's match, and disrespectful to the work that they put in. Started off after the brand split with all these squash matches alongside Braun Strowman, and what's happened to him. He's come on, and something maybe post Mania something big will happen, and her big moment will come in on the main card. Do you have anything else to say on this matter, really? Because
we'll just see what she does next week.
It's
and then see what she does at Mania.
Well, yeah, and like you said, as we'll talk about it with the women's brand on SmackDown as well, which is all mixed up really, and see what happens. Another one of the sit-down interviews that Michael Cole loves to conduct with Triple H. Triple H has had a lot of these intense promos lately, and I would say especially Monday gone. It's not confirmed, but to give Seth Rollins an ultimatum, and whether or not he wants to compete in the match at WrestleMania, and he's made a unsanctioned match, I should say. What did you like this aspect of the show?
I liked the segment. Because that guy came on during the show, and he was like Dr. Wilkes, and he was like, no one would clear Seth in
Yeah.
months, but obviously they will.
And they said it was live via satellite, but I doubt that very much.
I think it was like filmed backstage like 10 minutes before. But yeah, the thing that got me is the CM Punk chance. He got flustered again.
He did, didn't he?
But he kept it more controlled than he did like a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, I watched something yesterday actually, and last week they're properly so loud, and then he pauses and then takes a deep breath and then stutters and then he gets back into it.
Yeah, this week he like stood up and kind of leaned against the ropes for a bit, but. Yeah, then he started talking about listening to the roar of the fans. They want you, Seth. I was like, that's CM Punk, but
yeah,
you know. But yeah, it was a good segment. You know, Triple H is always great on the promos, and again, it just got me excited for the match.
Well, there's one review that I read of SmackDown, and they said of like they've done well to keep Lesnar and Goldberg feud going, and Owens and Jericho, and that's sort of a lot more of anticipation to it. They said that this week was I think it was Wrestling Incorporated, a review on that website. They said that sort of after this week, they've sort of dropped the ball with it, and they're not that guy anyway who gave the review had lost all of his want to see that match or the anticipation towards Mania. I'd probably agree with him in a way, just because of the nature of the promo. It was just sort of the same thing. I mean, I don't really like Triple H promos that much anyway. And there's all a certain code the way it goes. There's always an in and an out, and you sort of know what way it's going to go. But in a way, if he is going to give Rollins this win at WrestleMania, you know the usual stick that he's gonna say. Saying that a couple weeks ago, I was actually really looking forward to it, and maybe last week as well.
Yeah, I think I agree with like the little dip it's taken, especially with the Lesnar match actually. But I think because of last week was so good that I'm going to stay excited for it. And next week hopefully it's a bit better as well, just to get us on that peak for WrestleMania.
Yeah, that's hope so anyway. Another quick fire. Well, we'll go a couple really quick fire. Sheamus and Cesaro. We're in a 4-on-2 handicap match. That's the one. Sort of Stephanie cementing her power on Monday Night Raw. And I say if they lost, they wouldn't be in the triple threat at Mania. And in the end, Gallows and Anderson turned on their partners Enzo and Cass, and Sheamus hit the broker, I believe, and that was it. It ended very quickly. But I don't really see the reason of them even doing that. Yeah,
every week I just say I'm a fan of Sheamus and Cesaro, and again it was this week. I really like the two. I want them to win at Mania because I want them to stay together because I like it. But I don't think that's going to happen. I think they'll go their own ways. And just the final point, I can't stand Enzo.
No, as we say every week. But I think that now I think they might have a good chance of winning the title.
I don't think that's coming anymore. They kind of
that's the thing.
Pushed it a bit, and it's coming now. I think just the match is too much for them.
And whether or not it's Kevin Dunn or not, the sort of the chance against Enzo or the thank you Sheamus, whatever, or the animosity against towards Big Cass and Enzo more sort of faded away, and Enzo more so. But I think they might be going over it at Mania.
I think they will be. I said that on the first podcast. I remember.
Right. Next quick fire. It's a segment with the New Day, and I just want to.
I don't
want to talk about the segment itself because they just spoke about the matches at Mania. Yeah. I want to talk about right at the start. So if anyone, I mean, a lot of wrestling fans would probably know there's been a certain Paige leak. I'm not gonna talk about it too much.
Page, not like a leak of pages.
No, that's I mean, I'm sure people will understand what I mean by that. But I don't want to talk about that as much. I just want to talk about how they dealt with it, because Xavier was involved with all of these pictures and videos that were released. And as the segment started, I don't know why you're laughing, Brad. I don't know why you want to talk. This is just good journalism. And as Xavier's there, standing there, Big E and Kofi then look at him and they say, "Have you got someone to tell us?" And I think they just allude to being the WrestleMania host once again. Did you like the way that? Did you like?
I didn't even notice that.
Did you know it?
No, because I'm not against. I'm not for these pictures. I'm against it all.
Oh, well, that's what they did.
Yeah, I was always wondering how they was going to deal with it.
But did you like the way that they dealt with
it? I didn't notice. It wasn't going through my mind at the time.
Well, after what I said, did you like the way they dealt with it?
I'm going to go back and watch it. Yeah, They didn't mention it, so obviously it's a PG show.
Yeah, and it sort of sums up how the WWE are going to deal with it. That that's all they're going to mention, I feel, and just move on swiftly with it.
I mean, they've given Tom Phillips a head commentator job now, so
yeah, exactly. And you got that giggle out of the way. We can move on swiftly now.
In the notes it doesn't say who's going to mention it.
No,
so,
but I thought I'd bring it up anyway.
Yeah.
I said I was, and I did, and I delivered. Moving on, second cruiserweight match of the night. Austin Aries.
That's what I thought was going to be the next quickfire.
This is another quickfire. We're moving on to next quickfire. Austin Aries defeated Tony Nese. And I don't really remember the match itself, but probably post-match.
That's good.
Had great Austin Aries great promo. He's great on the mic.
It's kind of the same every week. They should have maybe done it this week. Like he won the number one contender because he's been in it for a week now. But 2 weeks ago he was doing the same promo. But they need something just a little bit extra just to make me more excited for this match. I'm excited for it anyway, but I'm only excited for it because of what I know Neville can do. So they kind of need maybe that contract signing they had with Gallagher and Neville, with the umbrella and things, just to kind of get people a bit more pumped for it. So at the minute, I think for the kind of not as we like the wrestling, so we're excited for this match. But for the people that kind of watch it for the bigger names, they need something to sell this match to them.
Well, to be fair, I actually like the way they did this, just because if you think about the feuds that Neville has gone through in the past, he's always been there running in the ring and attacking. And in this, and even with the most recent one with Gallagher, or Gallagher, however you want to pronounce it. But in this case, he wouldn't go to the ring. There's a real sense of intimidation that that is there.
We know what Aries is capable.
Yeah,
of,
and Neville has given off that perception that he knows as well, and this is going to be a much bigger test than any other test before.
Yeah, I think that's how they're trying to sell it. And I think we'll talk about our predictions next week, but I think Aries is going to win this, go over at Mania. And hopefully Neville kind of moves to the main roster or something, because he's just that good.
Yeah, in such a short space of time, he's done wonders. Maybe not. There's not been a lot of feuds, but on his feuds anyway, he's done wonders really, and how he's really done at the best of his abilities to progress this cruiserweight division. And yeah, the thing that is in my mind from this is just Aries. Like I said last week, a lot of people wouldn't be familiar with what he's done all over the world. And with this promo, just shows that he's not just a class wrestler. He's also great on the mic. Yeah,
well, we saw that on commentary a bit as well. But like you said, I'm familiar with him. But if people aren't, they should know who Austin Aries is. Anyway, we'll move towards the main event, which was. We haven't mentioned the Brock Lesnar bit.
We haven't mentioned the Brock Lesnar bit.
But again, I like the way he didn't talk, and they just put the segments a bit above him. But yeah, it's just I'm not really excited. It was just a number of segments during the number of video packages throughout. They're trying to run out what they can do. Obviously, Brock doesn't talk, so it's not like he can cut a promo. And Goldberg's is the same thing every week, and I'm just bored of it. Well, they're doing a real big thing, with the Festival of Friendship a few weeks back, and there were many different video packages throughout the program. They tried, and I think with Goldberg and Lesnar, they tried to really big that up as well. And it moves on. Should we move on swiftly to the Reigns? Yeah, I just want to say, they, like you said at the start, they really balanced the promos with the wrestling this week. Unlike last week, it was all promos. I like the promos more at the minute because it's hype for WrestleMania. But hopefully afterwards it's back to more wrestling. Let's hope so. But you can't really argue with the fact that there's a lot of dialogue because of the storytelling and because the hype they want to give to these matches going into Mania. And one that didn't, really incorporate any dialogue was the Fastlane rematch between Roman Reigns and Braun Strowman. It was actually quite a short match in a way. They teased the gong going off last week, I think. But nothing that did not Undertaker coming out didn't come to fruition. And the match this week, the gong goes off, but the lights go down this week, and out comes the Undertaker, and Roman Reigns delivers a spear to the dead man. When the lights went off, usually people did the little turn, and he just stayed looking at Strowman, which I really liked. And we give Reigns a lot of stick, but it's around WrestleMania season where it's the busiest, and I'll give it to him that he's on Raw every week and he's delivering every week. So he's very capable of being the face of the company. They just need to kind of get people backing him. And it's not that I don't like Roman Reigns. I just think he's been given opportunities where someone else should have, and hopefully it starts to change a bit, because I don't want him to turn into the new John Cena, because again, like, you know, John Cena could just place himself into matches and things, and I don't like that. I think it should just be down to talent, and he's a talented guy, and when he's not in the limelight for being the face of the company, he's a good performer.
Well, I do actually think that the plan is to make him the face of the company, because I don't think there has been one face for a long time. There's been a lot scattered about, and there's not been one
for a bit, wasn't it?
But I don't think there really has been one really cemented since Cena. I've never really considered Orton the guy.
No,
the
but
face.
he was on all the posters,
although
and trucks and things.
Yeah, but they can do that with him, and I really think they're going to go with this with Reigns. But what I liked actually about the thing with The Undertaker is, as he chokeslammed Strowman, he made a face. He's like, oh, damn, like he knew what he got himself into, and knew that when he turns around, he knew what's going to happen.
Yeah.
I guess some people like that, some people don't.
I just liked how, you know, the original chokeslam is the best chokeslam by Undertaker, and the way he got Strowman up and down, it was great.
Really good. I think it probably surprised a lot of people.
You know, Big Show even struggled a bit. And
yeah.
His legs were a bit dangly, but Strowman went right up, and it was a great sell by Strowman, especially to let him do it as well after he's been so dominant.
Like you said, throughout the show, there are a lot of video packages previewing the whole feud between Reigns and Strowman. And what I didn't like, Michael Cole always alluded to the fact that the feud started at the Royal Rumble. It didn't.
It didn't, no.
Because a week before that, Goldberg and Reigns speared Strowman at the same time, and that actually caused the aggravation for Strowman to come out and cost Reigns a title at the Rumble against Owens.
I think even when it went around Survivor Series time, and they was all beating each other up, and you know, Strowman attacked everyone. And then I think that's what instigated the spear. So I think, you know, it's been a long time coming anyway, because Strowman's this big guy who deserves to be in the main event spot. So why not go after the guy that has taken it from you? And yeah, it didn't start at Rumble at all, but that was when the big thing happened, I guess.
It's one of the big matches at Mania. Are you looking forward to Reigns and Taker at this moment in time?
I think I said last week, you know, I'm kind of, the magic out of Undertaker at WrestleMania is kind of gone for me. So, not really, but I'm more excited to see what way it's going to go rather than the actual match itself.
I think it's always been there for me, even after he lost against Lesnar. You know, after the streak finally ended, I've always liked.
I think it went for me last year when he like sat up and just like snot all over his
face.
He was sweating like disgustingly, and it was like 10 minutes into the match at this point, and it's like, you know, maybe you should hang the boots up.
Yeah, it's always been there for me, sort of the buzz, and I think even more so because of Reigns now. Because last year, like we knew who was going to win.
Yeah.
The year before we fought Bray Wyatt, we knew who was going over. This year, I think it's really, really unpredictable.
Yeah, it's definitely unpredictable, and you know the magic hasn't gone from the entrance. You know, when I hear the entrance, I feel like a 10-year-old staying up late to watch it. And I'm always excited for that, but yeah, like the actual match, like, you know, I'm kind of. He looked quite good this week though. Like I remember he came back last year. And Shane is a bit podgy, but you know he looked all right. So you know maybe he has been working out and trying to get himself in good shape after Reigns. And also I'm excited to see if this is kind of the end. Like that's the.
Yeah, I think that if he's gonna lose, I think it would be. I
like to see how they do it. Like,
yeah.
You know, I hope like Vince comes out. They might do it on Raw after because you know it'd be a bit weird if like the fireworks are going up and it's all black and then like Vince comes out and it's like.
Yeah, well, there's a bit of confusion last year at Mania because I think after that match with Shane, he sort of left his gloves in.
Yeah, maybe he did want to.
In the ring, and I think there was a rumour that he really did want to, but Vince was just trying to keep him going.
I think it is just to get this face over.
And maybe because he knew that he's old. Taker's old school. He likes to go out on a loss and give someone the fame and the opportunity to become the.
Yeah, but why couldn't it be Cena? That's what we're all saying. Why couldn't it be Cena?
I don't know. Well, that was Monday Night Raw.
I guess Cena doesn't need the win. but you know,
Yeah.
we all wanted to see that match.
Yeah, we did, but then we know where
It's
he's
never coming.
and we know where he is now on the card, and we'll get to that. But that was Monday Night Raw.
It was an alright Raw, but again, just because we're excited for me,
Yeah.
you don't really pay attention anymore.
Yeah,
You just kind of.
Yeah, when I think of Raw and SmackDown, I just think, right, I've got this to look forward to. Mania around the corner. I don't really think of the match itself, even though we are reviewing Raw and SmackDown for this week. But anyway, and like I said, we will move on to SmackDown, and a lot of anticipation for me anyway, because of what happened last week between Styles and Shane.
I was a bit more. This week, I wasn't very excited for SmackDown. I thought everything had been done.
Right.
I didn't think they was going to add anything to the Shane match, which proved me wrong, definitely. And yeah, for me this week it was more about Raw. But yeah, SmackDown. I'd say SmackDown took the edge this week. Very thin edge, but they took it.
And for that reason, was probably because of a couple of aspects on the show that we didn't think was gonna prove people wrong, and we will get to that. But we'll start off with probably Styles' promo at the start. I always do like a Styles promo to start off SmackDown, because you know he says it in his promos, but he really has how you know the weight of SmackDown has been on the shoulders, and he's really dealt with it so well, and he's just run with this. And I think he likes the fact he's sort of even the WWE consider SmackDown as the B show, and he's sort of tucked away on SmackDown, and he sort of has the abilities to show off what you can do and make an impact at the same time.
Yeah, I agree. I talked last week about him moving to Raw to be on the flagship show, but I don't think that's gonna happen anymore. Like what you've just said, he kind of likes being on SmackDown, and it's where he should rightfully be champion, I guess. Because on SmackDown you've got the WWE Championship, which is more prestigious than the Universal. So he could easily win that after Mania again. And yeah, I think he kind of deserves to be on there, and he's built his character there. And yeah, you know, like he says every week, we watch it for him, well, not just for him, but for him.
I always feel like there are certain bouts on certain wrestlers that I wouldn't like. So like I wouldn't like the Universal Championship on Styles, and like I would prefer him to have the WWE Championship, or even like Intercontinental or something like that. I just feel like certain bouts just suit certain wrestlers a bit more.
Yeah, I see what you're saying, but I guess if you're on a show, you have to take the belt it gives you.
Of course. And
but the thing I didn't get in their segment was he said the McMahons are like on your case now, but I don't. Like Vince is like AJ's biggest fan. I don't think he is on his case at all.
Yeah, I mean, despite that, I think again he's starting to really enjoy his promos and him on the mic, because he is becoming very, very confident.
Yeah, definitely.
And even with his accent, you think that you can't really take it seriously, and sort of.
I quite like that.
Yeah.
Like the Deep South kind of, because he is a bad guy, and so it kind of works.
Yeah, it does, and that sort of. I mean, I don't think there's really anything else to say. He was just sort of really happy. Just to sum up it, he was just really happy with what he did and had no regret or remorse, and basically said that because he's the man, he can beat up the boss and still get away with it and get given a match as a result.
Yeah, we've kind of seen this around Europe, haven't we? Like when he beat up Vince and Triple H and all that. But he was really kind of flogging WrestleMania this week. He had the WrestleMania T-shirt, hat. And he kept saying, "Yeah, WrestleMania's for thrills."
Yeah,
I was like, it's like he's like a product on the show. But apart from that, if you didn't notice that, I noticed the small things. But yeah, he is the guy, and he can do what he wants, I guess.
Well, I don't think that. I'm not sure if there was a tagline last year. They're starting to have like proper branding.
Yeah, I don't like
the Ultimate Thrill Ride. I'm not sure if there was one last year.
There wasn't.
No. Because I mean, it's just something to
next year
entice people a lot more.
Next year, we'll have something to do with Daniel Bryan, I guess, back in New Orleans.
Yeah, maybe. And yeah, we'll leave that for the moment, and that sort of set up what he was doing later. And I'm looking forward to moving on to the tag team match between the Usos and American Alpha, which was by far match of the night, and
match of the week.
Yeah, which received a lot of praise from people on social media that I realised, and I'm sure from other people who haven't, aired what they loved about the match.
Yeah, I think you said they're trying to they might try and squeeze a SmackDown tag team match on a Mania. I don't think so. I think this was their kind of Mania, and they stole the show.
Right.
You know, probably a rematch next week. I guess you could put it on the pre-show, like 5-10 minutes. But yeah, I think this week was their kind of spotlight, and they stole it. You know, we've kind of called it a bit boring in recent weeks, and then, you know, we haven't liked the Usos' character, but that's never taken away from their in-ring ability, and they've proved it this week.
Yeah, the Usos are the new champs, and what I loved about this is I always love a tag team match with like so many near falls, and I think that there's a match between Sheamus and Cesaro and the New Day when the New Day were champs. There's one on Raw, and then they had a match straight after on Roadblock when they actually eventually lost the titles. And those are two great matches and received some great praise. This was again the near falls, like the first time Usos covered. I actually thought they were gonna win because I think they super kicked. I think it's Chad Gable. And I thought they were gonna pick up the titles then, and I thought, you know, they kicked out, and I thought, that's it then. You know, American Alpha will retain.
Yeah, because that's what usually happens, isn't it?
And it took another twist, and very similar to what happened last week. I think it was while the ref was turned, they did something and then picked up the win.
Yeah, it's just to cement their kind of heel character, but it
which is great.
It didn't bother me that they did the low blow.
Yeah.
Because I was so excited by the match, and there was like the bit where like he got chucked into the universe, as they say. It was like you wouldn't expect that from an American Alpha match. It's certainly not an USO match, and they really proved us wrong. And you know, we're kind of getting back into an era where these are tag teams that grow up together and they come up through together. And Usos are probably the longest on the show, I guess, on the roster. You know, they've been around for 10 years maybe.
Yeah.
Because, you know, I was thinking like when I was younger, the tag teams were always formed on the show. Like we had like Jericho and Sheamus, like those two. And they were two great tag teams that I enjoyed seeing every week. But now I'm enjoying these actual tag teams that, you know, they've come up through NXT together. And I've always liked American Alpha. And, you know, maybe they can steal the show again.
And it will sort of continue to be that way now with tag teams from NXT like coming up, the Revival and DIY. And Authors of Pain, who are currently the champions. I think it'll be a lot more time before they actually get the call up.
But like them.
No, I think DIY has always been my.
Nah, I love the Revival.
Really?
That match though was great. I remember because that was like the first takeover we watched live. And we was like, cool.
Yeah, but like you said, I think you certainly talking some sense when you say Usos and American Alpha, they've sort of already had their match. Because say that, you know, this gets added, that's 13 matches. Say there's 3 on the pre-show, that's 10 matches on the main card. You just don't have enough. I know they can do what they want because it's on the network, but you have to be realistic and you have to give them matches the time that they need. And you know, unfortunately for American Alpha, they and Usos, they might not get their match.
Yeah, and last year, like even at like 4:20, the Roman Reigns match was just starting. Yeah, it's 4:20. Like, we want to go to bed. I know in America it's only like 10 or whatever, but like we want to go to. You go to sleep. You know, the entrance kept me awake a bit. Yeah. Stephanie up there reading a book or whatever. That was alright. But the actual match, like 40 minutes long as well.
Well, even wherever you are in the world, if you are watching it in America, it's still, you know,
7 hours. That was
huge. It's just like you could be the biggest wrestling fan of all time, but
even
it's still too much. You know, exactly. I've had that before, but you just like you got to stand up. Yeah. You've just got to like move your legs a bit. You just got to stretch out, just because it's so long. But.
I don't think we'll be seeing a SmackDown tag team match. Kind of like when they left the women's SmackDown off Raw Rumble. Yeah. So you know, SmackDown is the B show. They should have less matches.
You want to treat both equal, but unfortunately, something has to, fall by the wayside. Really.
Exactly. You wouldn't have Lesnar and Goldberg on SmackDown, so you have to kind of make these changes. Yeah. And sort
of really, when there was the draft, 3 Raw picks and 2 SmackDown picks. Yeah. So you could say, well, we don't have time for the SmackDown titles because the Raw's superior. You got too many of them. Do you know what I mean? Anyway,
one thing we didn't mention, and I just remembered this: Strowman. He hasn't got a match either.
No, right, yeah.
And it's not like he's gonna have a solo match now either, because there's not enough space. So he's just gonna win the Andre the Giant. Yeah, it's a bit. Hopefully after Mania, I see the title on, so I really want to see that. That's what I just had to say. Yeah. I just forgot.
Anyway, what we did see on SmackDown was a fresh matchup that we haven't really seen before between Randy Orton and Baron Corbin.
Yeah, I wish they kind of saved this match for like maybe a couple of years' time when Baron Corbin's like cemented as one of the top names. But it's not. I guess it's kind of nice to see it now as like a preview for a future champ, Baron Corbin, and it didn't go exactly how I thought it was going to go. But it was an alright match.
Yeah, I think it was just okay for me anyway. I think that I think sometimes there are a lot of matches that are only fit for a certain purpose, and this was one. I mean, some other matches are fit for a purpose, and then they can go ahead and just steal the show and make a great match of it. But I think this was only.
Yeah, see, I thought this was going to be the main event, and that's why
exactly
it was only given 10 minutes.
And in fact, it was only just made for Ambrose to come out and distract Corbin, and for Orton to pick up the win.
Yeah, the bit I did like was the salute. I like that.
Well, I thought if he's meant to be the heel, because he burned down the Wyatt compound. If he is meant to be the heel,
he got a huge pop though.
Yeah, that's what I mean. But if you just think about that way, because he's crapped all over Bray. If he's meant to be the heel, obviously the crowd don't think that. If he is meant to, you wouldn't salute someone. You would just pick up the win and say I'm the greatest, and then bugger off. You wouldn't. Acknowledge someone for giving you the win.
Yeah, well, a couple of weeks ago, those two hated each other. So like Dean and Randy, but it's always the nice salute, and then Dean like that back.
Yeah,
it was alright. There's a match at Mania now between those two. We saw it coming weeks ago.
Yeah,
I'm surprised they didn't announce it on social media first.
Yeah, which they did with Reigns and Taker.
Yeah,
but what I remember mostly from this match actually was afterwards, and the lovely Renee Young interviewed Randy. And out came all of the sheep, I thought Eric Rowan was going to be one of them.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
I was hoping so bad he's going to come up and just like ginger beard, he's going to beat down Randy. But I quite liked it.
Yeah. I
kind of like the what's the word for it? The kind of theatrical. Kind of element, like it's not real, so we can make the lights flicker if we want to. And a lot of wrestling fans don't like that, but I do. It wasn't like over the top, And then the lights came back on, and he's surrounded by sheep. It was nice.
Well, I didn't particularly enjoy that bit. I had loads of potential this feud, and I feel like they've just showered it with all this like supernatural stuff from
surprised
Bray.
his eyes didn't glow again.
But even with just like what Bray says, it's just like it was the same as last week. It's just like this, Sister Abigail lives on through him, and he's actually changed him for the better.
Yeah, they really went the wrong way with the story.
Yeah.
So I said to you last week, I was like, I hope he doesn't become like a demon now, like with Sister Abigail. It exactly happened. It's like they listen to this podcast and they do start to annoy us, and like now it's just like the demon versus the viper kind of thing, and it's if they just left it to the actual wrestling, then it could have been great. I mean, he still could have burned his house down, but he didn't have to mention Sister Abigail or anything.
Well, I still feel like Harper should be in this triple threat, and I think the best he's going to get is a match against Bray next week, which has been confirmed.
I really like the new look. He has the black vest, the bun up. He looks he just looks like a big guy.
He looks like he's got even better into shape as well.
Exactly, like he kind of, hopefully after SmackDown.
Yeah.
I think maybe this was like a preview of what he can do, and they're seeing if after SmackDown they should keep him on, and they should. He deserves to be IC title champion again. Like him versus like Baron would be great.
Yeah, that is a feud that maybe could stem from that afterwards. Because Harper's now the face.
Exactly.
I think Corbin probably going to pick up the win against because as I didn't mention that Corbin and Ambrose has been confirmed for Mania, so you never know. That could be something that comes from that.
Hopefully.
Yeah. John Cena beat Fandango.
when it said at the start of the show, we're going to see John Cena versus Fandango, I was so confused. I was like, why? But obviously, I remembered it's for like this whole tag team thing. Because last week it was Carmelo and Ellsworth. So this week, he's like, who can Nikki pick up?
Right.
Tyler Breeze. And
And Tyler Breeze was dressed up.
What was it?
as Nikki.
No, it was something Bella. He was like a new Bella.
Oh right, yeah.
Brittany Bella.
Something like that.
And, yeah, it's unfair because the fashion police are good. They deserve better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like I thought he's dressed up as Nikki or a spoof of Nikki, and I thought she's gonna come out and do something.
You kind of knew it.
Then the music came off. It's like she's gonna do something. She runs down. It's like, oh no. I just thought it's gonna happen, but I didn't believe it until then she just speared him, and it's just like she got him up.
I thought she was gonna spear him outside the ring, just get like a
yeah,
pop.
that's what I thought.
But like
well.
actually in the ring, it was
and
kind
just
of
the same thing. They've practiced it for a couple of weeks now. John Cena with the.
He does it differently now. He goes for the closer rope, but it's a bit.
So John Cena with AA
it's not in the original John Cena. Nikki's changed it.
And Nikki with the rec attack, and they've practiced it twice now.
I'm
it's
sure
going to happen at Mania.
I'm sure she went to do an AA and she just fucked up, so she just went backwards instead. I mean, credit to her for picking up Tyler Breeze, but I don't want to see it. It's just. Tyler Breeze at NXT was a great wrestler. I don't want to see him get married by Nikki. And yeah, we kind of don't know what to say because
I know what to say. John Cena's going to propose to Nikki at WrestleMania.
I heard that from someone else, and I hope not.
I don't know. It'd be so cringeworthy, wouldn't it?
I think they will just for a Brie Bella the Bella moment, just for that. Like it'll be on TV, and it won't be a real proposal or anything. And I really hope.
Because the thing is, though, that will overshadow the whole show. Because John Cena will want to have his fucking moment.
Yeah, because it'll be on like the media.
Exactly, and he will want to have his moment.
Imagine proposing to someone and just hear CM Punk. Like you don't want to hear that.
No, I would.
Yeah,
that'd be great.
Yeah, but like not for Cena. This is his moment. Well, it's Nikki's moment.
Yeah, but I wouldn't want them to have their moment at Mania because there's so much else that's going on. Have your match, accept the fact that there's other people that need their moment, and they're not going to go with Cena's. I'm sure he'd be disappointed that he didn't have Taker, but have your moment with your tag team. He's going to make out with Nikki, but no pros. Then just bugger off and watch the rest of the show.
He hasn't got Taker, so he's going to have to make his own moment. Oh, I hope not.
I know.
I really hope not.
Well, I think that this is a great time to move on to. I thought this was great. The spoof that Miz.
It just
and
reminded me of
Maurice.
a tweet actually before you start. Like someone was like, like my favourite woman from Total Divas. You go, Nikki. It was like a picture of her like AA and Tyler Breeze, and I was like, so it's exactly for the Total Diva fan. Like no one else wants to see Nikki Bella, AA someone dressed up as her. But yeah. The next bit was great. You carry on. Yeah,
I mean, you said Total Diva as well. This was the Total Bellas spoof, and I actually thought that there's actually going to be some genuine footage or something. I mean,
I felt because JBL gave it away. JBL gives so much away.
I mean, what did he say?
He went, "We've got unseen footage filmed by the Miz or something." I was like, "Well, you just give it away."
Yeah, right. Okay, I didn't know that.
That's the thing though. JBL was there this week again, as always, but. Atunga was back. Moro was sick. Apparently, but this is it's just the three of them now. I guess.
Well, I'm not too bothered about Atunga. I just like the combination of Tom Phillips and JBL.
Tom Phillips
works well.
So you've always said Corey Graves is your favourite,
right?
But Tom Phillips for me, he's great. But I guess he's not a colour commentator. He's kind of the guy on that panel now.
Yeah, but I mean, like you said, one of the commentators, JBL, gave it away. But I think it was great with this Miz and Maurice spoof, and my notes on here, it's so bad it's good.
Yeah, exactly.
It was so bad it was good, and a lot of these spoofs and stuff that people have done before, I instantly make a judgment on it, and I instantly loved this.
Yeah, me too. As soon as you saw Maurice there as Nikki Bella, it was great.
Yeah,
I mean, she looks better as Nikki Bella than Nikki Bella. Does. And the way she did it was great. Like Maurice is in the last few weeks, she's been top woman, like the promo she's cut, and now this, it was it's funny even for a 20-year-old. Like I was genuinely laughing, like the John Cena recognize like every time
it's brilliant, and he couldn't tie his shoelaces, and the I bought you a diamond Dallas Paige yoga set or something like that. It's brilliant.
It was really bad. It was good, wasn't it? Like the Miz is always a funny guy.
Yeah. And Maurice had like the mannerisms of Nikki Bella, exactly. Down to a T.
She got a spot on.
And like this is something that these two could probably get their teeth into, because I think there's a lot of truancy into what they say, especially in talking smack. Like I really don't, they, especially the Maurice for Nikki Bella, there's some genuine hatred there. And Maurice has really, and Maurice has come into her own. with this has been a blessing in disguise for her to get her teeth into something like this.
Exactly. Yeah, I don't think after Mania she's going to be any more in ring stuff. This is kind of for now. Maybe Nikki asked her. I think they're maybe probably better friends than they make out. So she's asked Maurice personally, but like before we was kind of annoyed that it started so early, but I wish it started earlier because we could have had like these every week, like these little Total Bella Ball, as it was.
Yeah.
And we could have had it every week and it would have been funnier and funnier until like maybe Johnson snapped at it or something.
Well, didn't it say on the because there was two sort of video packages on the second one? Didn't it say like to be continued?
Yeah, exactly.
So there's probably going to be, which is great. I could see this, for another.
I'd rather watch this than Total Divas.
Yeah. And Miz and Maurice weren't actually in the ring, but they still made a great impact on SmackDown.
I've said it a lot, but after this, I don't think Cena will be around, but they could have had a feud. But I hope after this, the Miz is in the main event push again because
I like to think so.
He really deserves it.
Yeah.
We say Styles is kind of the guy that attracts everyone, but like the Miz, he really makes the show his own.
Yeah. Which is great, and I've really, especially the last year, this is one of the best years he's had in the company. Especially
with like the whole Dolph Ziggler. I know Dolph's not doing much anymore, but that little feud they had together was just great.
And Dolph is someone who's really struggling to try and get to the stage that he was back in like 2012 or 13, and the Miz has been the only person that could actually do that.
Yeah,
they had a great match at No Mercy.
See, if they had like a WWE title match, I really wouldn't care because these are two like, veteran guys. But it's kind of Dolph's kind of gone the wrong way. When he should have, I guess, because that career-threatening match was kind of like maybe a bit legit, kind of like you've got to prove yourself a bit, or we could just cut you off any time. Because obviously he's got Hollywood and stuff going on now. So the Miz has escalated, whereas Ziggler's declined, and maybe it's a bit not fair, but the Miz is just a great character, so he deserves to be up there.
Which proves why he's actually got more of a meaningful match at Mania, and Ziggler's just going to be in the Memorial Battle Royal.
Yeah, exactly. I didn't see the Miz in that.
Right, and we'll move on to another women's segment, and my other note of this was another bit of a pickle.
Yeah, this has been bugging me since you said it earlier. It's just a mess, isn't it?
Yeah.
I don't like it when men do this, so I'm not going to like it when women do this. Like they come out and they just attack each other. Yeah. The only time I ever liked it was, remember that end of like SmackDown or Raw where Stone Cold just came out and stunned everyone. I like that, but this isn't the same. This is just.
It's alright when Stone Cold is, not when Natalya and.
Yeah, exactly. That's Stone Cold.
Yeah, I think Natalya was the first person who came out and attacked.
Yeah, she was on commentary, didn't she?
Yeah, I think she attacked Becky. Was it, or Carmella first? It says on here Carmella defeats Becky Lynch via DQ.
Yeah, so it must have been.
Yeah.
But and then JBL gives it away again. He goes, "We don't know what kind of match this will be yet." So it's going to be like a ladder match. If it is a ladder match, I'll be happy. But at the minute, I'm not, because it is just a scramble.
If there's anything that would be alright, a scramble. I wouldn't mind that.
Yeah, but
we haven't seen it for a while.
There's more than 5 of them, isn't there?
Yeah, but if you want to make history, then
match.
Go for it. I think the only thing to take from this match / segment is the fact that Alexa stood tall at the end. Exactly. Really, everyone else was on the deck, and she was there holding the championship.
I thought Mickey was going to do it again.
Right.
And she kind of sold it quite well, but not at the same time, because it didn't look like it affected her. Yeah. She kind of went down like in Mortal Kombat mode. And I was happy. They kind of noticed last week that they've made their champion look weak, so this week make her look strong. Mm-hmm. And I can't really pick up on anyone else's position at the minute.
Yeah,
because like I said, it's just a mess.
Yeah, well, we'll see who looks strong at the next week, and then moving on to
Mania.
Yeah,
I still think so.
You're pretty confident in that.
Yeah. But in our predictions, I can't say that. Like, can you imagine? Like, just the hope she doesn't turn up. It'd be like you and Bray Wyatt last year. She's not there.
Yeah, but imagine that if you predict.
I was going to say Kelly.
I wouldn't be surprised if she's in the match.
Yeah.
But anyway, and
or Victoria. Yeah,
Victoria. They are both rumoured.
She was victim of something else now as well.
Right.
Yeah. It's not good this week. Outside of wrestling, in wrestling, it's been a wonder. But
Caitlyn as well.
Yeah, we can't. And Melina. No. We can't stop this. But
Maria and Dana.
It's nice to address it.
Yeah.
Not nice to address it. Just to note news. In other news, JR's wife died. A lot of tributes for that. That was quite nice. And let's move on.
We'll move on.
Just outside news.
As the as we spoke about the Styles promo at the start, and moved on to the last segment as Shane sort of tricked AJ. AJ was there waiting in the parking lot for Shane.
This is the first time we saw like Rhino.
Yeah, they just used it. They come in or do this thing. You come out
Why
of
are
the
they in a
limo.
nice car, nice company car?
Yeah.
Like, they're not even champions. It was quite rad.
Wow, just nice to see them.
Nice to treat Rhino. And Heath.
Uh,
Heath's got kids. Treat him. Yeah.
And Shane called out AJ.
He looked really worried in the ring. Like they were going, yeah, he looks so confident, he's ready for this. But he looked like genuinely worried. Maybe because he knew he had to jump off a turnbuckle again.
Oh, right, yeah.
But,
I say that. Punches weren't great, were they?
The first jab was awful, but then the next few were all right. And then like he's like falling out the ring and he's chased him. So that bit was a bit of a slow start. But then afterwards, it was great. Like it wasn't quite a suplex, but I don't know what you'd call it. Like when you had him and kind of lift him over his head. That was really nice. I like that.
But the main thing that I sort of remembered from this is, like you said with his punches, like he's thrown the first punch, and because it was so bad and off target, like the commentators didn't react. So it wasn't until like the second and third punch that the commentators actually said something. And same with the crowd, they didn't react because they didn't know what they've just seen.
This is exactly what we said last week. You know, Shane's not a fighter.
Yeah, no disrespect, but he's just like a glorified stuntman, isn't he? You know.
And he did his jump for the table again, missed again.
Very much like last year.
We had to pretend. I couldn't believe they showed the replay in slow motion.
Yeah, I know.
Because you could see how much he's missed. Like,
Yeah.
and AJ like pretend to be like passed out.
He
like,
still sold it well, like a pro. That
yeah,
he is.
he's like hit his finger. Like, that's probably about how close he got.
Yeah, it's like I had a feeling that he wasn't going to make it. It's
Because
like,
he's right on the edge, wasn't he? I was like, at least drag him over a bit. Like, just make it easier for yourself. Stop trying to be like this guy that you're not.
well, maybe it's just Shane trying to push himself, and like he really wanted to do this because he maybe in the back of his head, because on Raw last year he totally missed Taker, and I think that was even worse.
Yeah, I respect Shane for that. Like, wanted to always push himself, but you know, it's choreographed for a reason. Like, don't try and do things that aren't possible.
But at the same time, like he's delivered this elbow now through the announcers table. Like we're probably. Do you think it should have happened on SmackDown? Like it eliminates the. It makes it less special at Mania.
Yeah, that's what he can do though, unless he's going to do another coast to coast. But like he is saving that for Mania, like his special coast to coast. So yeah, it was something that he could have done. He hit him with the monitor as well. I quite like that. Like,
Yeah, I
I
like that.
monitor hit in a while.
Yeah, you don't see that these
But
days.
he's Shane, he can do what he wants.
Yeah.
Yeah, I started off slating this promo, but I actually quite enjoyed it because we've all kind of been on Shane's back about this, but then he proved that he can keep up with Styles, and obviously Styles just let him keep up with him, because in the real world, Shane would be miles behind. But yeah, it was nice because it's kind of got me a bit pumped for this match.
Well, you were a lot more invested into this feud than going towards.
Yeah, especially
one that surprised me.
Yeah, seeing it balance out now. It's not going to be a squash match anymore. Shane's going to do something, but hopefully it is a no DQ match or something still. Yeah,
I think this is the one that's going to have a stipulation. I'm not sure about Ambrose and Corbin, but
no, I think because I thought this week they was going to fight in the parking lot, and then Daniel Bryan was going to get into the parking lot brawl.
I
haven't seen one of those in years.
I thought Daniel Bryan was going to come out of nowhere with run a knee or something, but I thought, nah, can't be it. But and then it's just you go from that to Heath Slater and Rhino coming out of a limousine.
It could have been Finlay. But it would be more entertaining seeing Finlay.
Finlay and Jamie Noble hand in hand.
I hate Jamie. I've always hated Jamie Noble. Jamie Noble was like Brian Kendrick. But I like Brian Kendrick. But Jamie Noble back in the day, he just wouldn't go away. He was always there.
He's still hanging about.
He is.
So we don't see him.
I don't mind Finlay. Finlay's right.
I always preferred out of those Noble and Mercury. Of that, the security thing. I always preferred Jay Mercury to the two.
I don't really like him though.
Just because he was in the Straight Edge Society for a bit and he actually had more of a meaningful impact on SmackDown when he was.
I didn't like him in the Straight Edge Society just because he was for real. He was proper doped out all the time and stuff. And he was tag team partner of Johnny Nitro. Didn't like that because John Morrison is the greatest showman of sexy ever. I hope he comes back this year.
You never know. He's having. I think I'm not sure what company it is, but he's a dual champion at the moment or something like that.
He's a dual champion.
Yeah,
nice.
Which is great for him, and he looks in great shape. Actually.
He's in a film as well. I'm gonna watch that. Probably the worst film ever. Goldberg's in a film as well.
Really?
Bill Goldberg. Yeah.
Goldberg was in a lot of films around his WCW days as well, wasn't he?
Stone Cold was in a couple as well. Kind of compete with each other. The best WWE actor though.
Yeah,
maybe
you're probably right.
Maybe The Miz.
Yeah, Well, apart from Dwayne, Big Dwayne.
Yeah,
but
he
he's
is now Hollywood. He is.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. Dolph Ziggler was good in his film. That's why I thought Dolph was going to disappear for a bit. Edge's alright. Lana's awful.
Oh, Lana.
Oh, Lana. I love Lana. I hope Rusev comes back quick because we don't get to see Lana.
Yeah.
But at least we don't get to see Jinder. That's who was.
We don't get to see Jinder. We don't get to see him, but we don't get to see Rusev's new haircut.
Oh, I love Rusev.
Again.
I wish Rusev was doing something this year.
It's a shame, isn't it?
Hopefully next year there's no part-timers
Yeah.
apart from Brock. Main event, isn't it? Brock. Roman Reigns.
We will see. That's a long time ahead. But that was SmackDown.
That's a whole year away. We would almost be done by uni
Yeah.
by then. And just kind of,
Right.
whoa.
Yeah. I thought about that the other day.
So it's not nice.
But that was SmackDown. Who got the edge this week? Or
So you're saying, like, it's the way we've talked about it, Raw sounded like it got the edge, but in my head, SmackDown did better to get me pumped for the matches.
yeah, you had more the moments, especially with Shane and AJ, but it didn't. It wasn't as an effective moment just because of with the elbow and missing AJ and stuff like that.
Yeah, again, I just think it's because we're excited for Mania. We're not going to think bad of wrestling because the biggest show in the world's coming up.
Yeah.
Just listen to Pitbull Greenlight on repeat for days, and you'll be in the mood.
Yeah. Well, next week we'll have another edition of the Undercast Marks podcast.
Two.
And possibly a special episode. We'll certainly have our predictions, but we're hoping to make a separate episode and have our WrestleMania predictions on that. That's going to go on for a while just with our predictions, but that's going to be a favourite one of mine. Are we going to do NXT as well, or
no?
Well, it's not WrestleMania, is it? It's NXT Takeover.
Yeah, I don't know who's going to win that. Bobby Roode, hopefully. But there's talk about Bobby Roode coming up with Triple H.
Yeah,
I've heard that a few times, but Nakamura kind of.
Yeah.
I know because Nakamura is safe in NXT. It's where he belongs. Because whenever they come up to like these how do you say it, like foreign people, they just make them like bad guys, and with Japanese people they make them silly, like Yoshitatsu.
That's exactly what I was thinking about.
He was actually a good performer,
Yeah.
but they just made him like with Kofi Kingston. I think there was a few good stuff, and then they just made him silly after that.
Well, Yoshitatsu left the company. And he's actually quite successful.
Exactly.
Now. Yeah.
So Funaki on commentary, and so in NXT he's kind of safe because it's kind of a bit still like underground, I guess, because it's not main roster. So but I hope Bobby Roode comes up eventually. Imagine glorious. Right?
It would be glorious, pardon the pun. But when we do these WrestleMania predictions, I'm not sure if the pre-shows will be confirmed, so we'll probably just do all 12-13 matches.
What do you think will be on the pre-show? So at the minute I can't really. I was thinking Raw tag team, but I can't.
I think
you need a tag team on the main roster.
I think the women's the women's title will be on the pre-show.
Yeah, if it's not a ladder match, then definitely.
But I'm just thinking now. I'm really not sure what.
I think these are all main card fights.
Yeah.
I think they're going to make more pre-show fights.
Because maybe they might have a tag team and that will be on the pre-show. But then you got two SmackDown
Cruiserweight match.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I think that will be on the main show.
So that means the thought of this is now making me think like Lesnar and Goldberg's going to be like 2 minutes. I hope not. But like you said, it's the network now. They can do what they want.
It's going to be a long one.
But it is still on box office and stuff. So
yeah, it is, isn't it?
So who knows?
Who knows? I'm going to be drinking a lot of coffee for that. Well, actually,
wait.
No, I won't. I'll be drinking a lot of Budweiser.
Cool.
And
Get the Budweiser.
eating a lot of pizza.
Yeah,
And
can't wait. WrestleMania party round us. But yeah, the thing is, I can't wait now. Next episode, it will be like 3 days away from Mania.
Yeah,
I can't wait.
We can't wait, and probably our most important podcast to date will be next week. Looking forward to the ultimate thrill ride that is WrestleMania. Thank you for you, Bradley, for joining us, and thank you for anyone listening to our podcast. Follow us on Twitter at TUS Wrestling. Follow you on Twitter at
TUS Bradley. It's been a bit of an update on there. You should go check it out.
Yeah, I've seen it. It's a great Twitter picture. And and follow me on Twitter at MattDale97. We've been the Undercuts Marks, and we will catch you later.